Once a student in these halls we stood, dreams in our pockets, hearts of wood. We carved our names into tomorrow, with every step through joy and sorrow. Now the echoes call us back to light the way on the same old track. The alumni spotlight shining bright, stories of courage chasing the light, from here to there and back again. CMA's pride will never end.
Back.
Thank you, Micaiah.
So we have a few questions today. I'll start. I'm Micaiah, and my first question: what was your experience like at CMA?
My first experience at CMA. So firstly, came from Ludington Magnet Middle School, and a lot of my classmates came from Ludington Magnet Middle School to here as well. And I had a cousin who attended CMA High School, 4 years older than me. He loved his experience, wasn't into communications or media arts, but I was at an early age. I knew I wanted to go into journalism and into media. And so it seemed like the perfect opportunity, like a school that was created just for me. And I applied, did my essay, got accepted here. And one of the things that I noticed was just how small the school was, especially at the location I was, because I was at the Mansfield location, which is off of Grand River, between Southwood Freeway and Greenfield. And it just felt like a really, I would say, a school that was much like a family away from family.
Wow. We all feel the same way here as well. We all feel like family, don't we?
Definitely.
Yes. Okay, my second question. What was the hardest challenge you have faced becoming a meteorologist?
Wow. So the hardest challenge that I've faced becoming a meteorologist is that I would say, well, for one, it's hard to actually become a meteorologist because there's only so many available spots available. It takes a lot of studying. I have to admit that I love learning, but I don't necessarily love being forced to learn certain things, meaning that I'm not necessarily a person who loves being in a classroom. So just going through college sometimes felt exhausting because I like to read on my own. I have a book collection, I have my own library at home, but like being in the classroom and doing all this homework and all these essays, for one. So the schooling was a challenge. It was, I was really excited and motivated when I first got into college. And then finally, toward the end of my experience, it's like, all right, can we hurry this up? You know, can I just go ahead and start getting paid versus having to pay money? But the next thing I would say is that transition from anonymity, not being known, to all of a sudden everyone knowing you. You lose your privacy. And that's something that you don't realize that you value until it's gone. I think a lot of people kind of fantasize about the idea of being famous, like, oh, that would be so cool, you know, celebrity status or being known, but it actually is kind of neat to just be able to blend in with family and friends and, you know, just not be known as well.
Yes. Good morning again. I have two questions for you.
Thank
The
you.
first question is, what skills do you use as a meteorologist to help you get in front of the camera?
Oh, wow. Okay. And this can be apart from just job skills, right? Personal skills, anything. Okay. So the skills that I would use, first and foremost, I would say making sure that you are coming in with clear communication. That's the biggest thing. Like, you can know everything, you can be super smart, but if you aren't communicating what you're trying to get across and communicating the story, then it defeats the purpose. I can know all the greatest terminology in meteorology, but if the viewers don't know what I'm talking about, then my job is not being done, because my job is to communicate the forecast. So every once in a while you'll hear a meteorologist, and this even goes for other people on TV, trying to sound smart, but it's like, well, the whole point is to get the message across, speak to your audience. So know who your audience is. And for us, we're speaking to not just adults, but we're speaking to kids as well. So why use all this fancy language if it's not understood? Another thing is skills. I would say, it's maybe not a skill, but it's something that I've had to try to overcome, is that I'm super shy. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. I have anxiety. Like, even standing in line at the grocery store, like, I have anxiety. It's just, I don't know what it is. I've always been shy. I've always been like, kind of just awkward, like the nerd. I got on here, weather geek, but it's always like kind of nerdy and quirky and everything. And maybe not quirky, but I've been pretty much a shy person all my life. And so getting into a field where I'm talking to a lot of people and I'm talking to the masses on TV really requires maybe the skill of trying to practice being confident and practice getting out of your own head, if you want to call that a skill.
Thank you. For my second question is, what motivates you to be a meteorologist? Like, what inspires you to keep going in that?
Okay. So what inspired me to become a meteorologist was first, I was like about 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, watching the news, which is kind of weird for a 5 or 6 year old. But my family have TVs around and things like that. And I saw these people talking about the weather. And I like being outside, like looking at the sky, like clouds and storms and lightning and thunder and all those different things. And I'm like, wait a minute, people can get paid and be on TV to talk about the sky? And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And I like storms. Like, that's my favorite thing about the weather, like storms. I do not like to see damage. I don't like to see destruction. But I find it fascinating to see lightning going across the sky. I think it's fascinating to see like the force of nature. And what keeps me going in this field is that I think it's really important that people have accurate information when it comes to weather, because weather affects us daily, our daily lives. I mean, this morning it might be as simple as, okay, I'm going to wear a sweater or a jacket to school. But in some situations, it's a matter of what do I need to do in order to save my life or my kids' lives when there's a tornado or a flood or something that could potentially cause harm or claim someone's life. So I have fun on TV, I like to joke, I like to smile, but it becomes really serious, and I feel like a first responder when there's severe weather, because what I say can affect what people do, and those actions could determine potentially the outcome of their safety.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So, with like modern day technology and everything, what do you feel like in the next 10 years will be the biggest challenge as a weather forecaster?
Oh, the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge with technology? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, honestly, I think the biggest challenge is going to be AI. It has the most potential benefit. I think there's the potential to do amazing things with AI. It's almost like the internet. You can use the internet for positive or you can use it for negative. There's dangerous things that can happen on the internet, or you can connect with people across the world. You can do school over the internet, all these amazing things. I think AI can potentially jeopardize my role, because it's like, do you really need a person when AI can generate a person? And eventually that person is going to look just like you and me. Right now you can kind of tell that it's AI sometimes, like the voices you can kind of tell, the image you can tell. Maybe they have like 10 fingers or something like that. But that's improving more and more. And so soon enough, it's like, well, why pay somebody to do it when the computers can do it a lot faster? The computers won't complain, or whatever the case, it's like, so I think AI is going to be something that everybody in the news media is going to be watching very closely, because it can replace jobs. The thing about that is, the hope is that people will want to still see real people. So that's the sort of the saving grace. The hope is that people will want to interact and know that it's a real person versus a computer. But eventually it might just become a time when we're accustomed to it.
From the here to